people don't know how much hard work you put in. But when it comes time to battle, you must think about each and every day that you put that hard work in.
What happened? Why don't you play anymore?
Brian Banks was 16 years old when he was accused of a crime he did not commit.
Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to my channel, The Underrated Darkness. Yours truly, the #1 grinder. I'm gonna put the panel link in the chat. Only one could get on is Johnny Boy Boxing. All right. Nobody else cannot get on because he's my main guest. Nobody cannot get on. So be very much appreciated. Okay. Only Johnny Boy Boxing, only Johnny Boy Boxing could get on. Brother, hit that. And got problems? Oh, sorry.
See me? Okay, good, good. Yo, what back? You hear me? Now I don't hear you. Can't hear
Could
you.
you hear me now?
Now I hear you. Now I hear you.
Okay,
Sorry
we
about
got
that,
you.
man. I'm not tech savvy, you know.
Hey, I'm a little bit better, but I but introduce yourself first before we continue.
All right, my name is Johnny Boy Boxing. Everybody call me Johnny Boy. I work at Fight Hype, and I have my own channel, Johnny Boy Boxing, on YouTube as well. And my Instagram is Johnny Boy Quick, so you can follow me there if you want to get at me.
Okay. Now, before we continue, I met Johnny Boy, but I know of him, but brother Clarence McClain introduced me to him. Now, tonight. I'm just saying, sometime tomorrow, I will interview him. He will come back here. I'm not going to do no chopper with him. No, that's going to come later. I'm going to interview him because his story is incredible. Like we talk about, boxing got degrees. And when you cheapen those degrees in boxing, you're not going to get nowhere. You got to hear his story. So what we gonna do after we finish doing here, I'm gonna go back, hit it back on. I got to copy your number. Then we gonna set it up for tomorrow, and I'm gonna interview. He gonna come back. He gonna interview him tomorrow. But what we gonna have right here, we gonna talk about the fight. So before we keep going, welcome to my channel, The Underrated Dog. It's yours truly, the #1 grinder. This is the Underrated Boxing Total 95. We got my man right here, Johnny Boy Boxing. Finally in the building. I'm so honored to have him here. To my Underrated One fan, my day ones, so always stick for the truth, stand for the truth. Always my Underrated One fan. So I can see you, we part of the family. So welcome to the family, Johnny Boy Boxing.
Man, salute to you. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here, man. I can't wait to get into it with you.
Yeah, you know I'm crazy. But also shout out to No Duck Zone Podcast, Brother McLean. Yeah, Brother McLean and his family. Keep up the fun, keep up the great work. Shout out to hashtag TWT family. Shout out to y'all. Keep up the good work. The mighty LDBC that stands for Lions Den Box community, also a basketball community. The family. Shout out to y'all. Y'all keep up the fine work. Now,
that's it.
Now, he just came from the fight, so he did us some justice. He just got home not too long ago from the fight. So I'm gonna ask you about the fight and tell us how you feel about the fight.
I thought it was a great performance by Jeremy Boots Ennis. Standing on this, I believe, was his toughest test. I've always felt that if Jeremy get past 10, it's easy pickings for the rest of the other competitors in that division. Brian Norman Jr. And Mario Barrios. I just don't think they have the skills. It looks like Brian Norman Jr. doesn't even want to fight because they were offering him like 1.7 million, and then he just fought for like 150,000. So that doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't fight for that title to unify. And even if you lose, you still make the 1.7 million.
Oh, rewind that back. Repeat that. Repeat that again, please.
Brian Norman Jr. was offered the fight with Jeremy Boots Ennis for $1.7 million. He declined that offer, and he just recently fought for 150,000. Supposedly, that's what the number they told me. So I don't know why you would take a fight like that for 150,000. After taxes, that's 75,000. 10% goes to your corner man. You got a cut man. You got another guy that's in there to cheer you on. You have to pay all these people. He's not going to make anything. He's going to come home with $50,000. He could have been a millionaire if he would have fought Jeremy Boots Ennis. And then if he beat Jeremy Boots Ennis, he'll be a multi-millionaire. He'll almost be a multi-millionaire just in one fight. But the recognition of beating a Jerome Boots Ennis is priceless. You can't put a price on that because now he calls the shots. He'll get $3-4 million just for a title defense against Mario Barrios. That doesn't even belong in that division, in my opinion. I don't think he belongs at 140 because of the weight difference. You know, he fought Tank at 140, and I guess he's comfortable. I think it was 140, if I'm not mistaken. But I just feel that Brian Norman Jr., it was a win-win for him, and it was a lose-lose for Boots because he was risking it against a boxer. Stanionis said he was going to put his foot on the pedal, all gas, no brakes. That's the type of fighter that you want with Boots. You want a bull coming at you, and he's the matador, and he's just dodging. You saw how elusive he was, his great defense. So shout out to Boots, and I just think that Brian Norman Jr. made a big mistake by not fighting Boots.
I heard a little bit about it when Clarence was talking, but I caught towards the end. And I'm glad that you cleared that up because, again, and I do hear what you talk in the past. Even the boxers fail to understand the business of boxing.
Yeah.
And I said, and I think that I will. There's a lot of things that I could have packed what you just tell me, Brother Johnny. And the one thing that impacted me, Norman, while you did that, you putting yourself back
Absolutely.
of future big fights, because they're gonna see, oh, you just take this number, we can give you anything you want. That so now you think about now, Ennis can call the shots now, because there's really no mandatories. He can really fight right now.
Absolutely.
There's really no mandatory. He don't have to fight now. So no, if you would have took that, you could, boxing, anything could happen now.
Exactly. He should have taken the fight.
He should have taken the fight. He would have been right there, right? Then if you would be Boost, I ain't no sense to go in the welterweight. I might as well go to 154. 154 is that's another conversation. We gonna touch on that in the near future on his channel. But at the same time, you fight Bruce Ennis. I knew that he was a headliner too. Why not take it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And now, from what I'm hearing, from what the rumors are at the fight, is that Brian Norman Jr. is trying to play the waiting game and be patient for Boots to unify the other title with Mario Barrios, get bored and move to 154. But that's not a good strategy, because he wants to be undisputed at 147 and then take over the division at 154 pounds. And I think that that'll be an incredible test if he was able to be a champion in two different weight classes, 147 and 154. But that's a monster division, like you said. I guess we'll talk about that another time. But Brian Norman Jr. has missed a big opportunity, and now they can play that game. Well, you took 150,000, so now we're not going to give you the 1.7 now. Now, if you want to fight us, now we're going to give you 1.2. You can lose $500,000 just at the negotiating table.
And then when people say, but that's 1.2, 1.7 and 1.2 in boxing, as you know, that is totally different.
Absolutely, yeah. Exactly. So the best bet would be for him to, apologize and say, listen, I want this fight, and start calling him out. But it makes it look like he's scared. And I don't think that fighters are necessarily scared of each other. This is what they signed up for, to fight each other. But what it is if you take a loss, it takes so long to get back up on, to get back on the center stage, that fighters don't want to lose that credibility. That's because of Floyd Mayweather. Not everyone can be Floyd Mayweather, so you can't try to follow his blueprint. You have to try to get paid and stay active as well, for that shot. And even if he does lose to Boots, he can put up a good fight, and people will say, listen, he went up against the best, but let's see him against Mario Barrios. He'll still be in there if Boots doesn't beat him first. What you thinking?
Norman, why? I mean, like, you've been in the game for a long time, so tell me if I'm right or wrong, and I stand to be corrected, bro. Knowing what he did, right? This is what I'm thinking now. I could be corrected. You put yourself back for 150 instead of 1.7. 1.7, right?
Yeah.
You actually signing yourself out of championship aspirations in the near future, right? Because you banking on Ennis. Oh, he gonna go to 154. Exactly. Now, but you playing the waiting game while other people is moving up now, because exactly. You got others is moving up in the division, right? Barrios got the WBC, right?
Yeah.
But see, Barrios said, "Oh, Norman, you ain't taking this much. I might as well like that. Listen, I can get more money than Norman because I headline. I fought a headline. So I'm exactly. Instead of 1.7, I probably get a little more than 2.
Yeah, definitely. And they'll give it to him because he has that heart to take it. And not saying that Brian Norman Jr. doesn't have a heart, but maybe his team is trying to, they see the skills and the talent of Jared Boots Ennis. But you're a fighter. This is the fight business. This is what you signed up for. You have to take these tough challenges, and you can't just cherry pick your way to the top. He's a champion. He's a great fighter. I think he has great boxing fundamentals. He has a chance to beat Boots Ennis, but if he doesn't believe in himself, that's not a good start to go from.
And so, and at the same time though too, Norman, you never headline nothing.
Exactly. This will be his coming up point.
Right. Once you take the 1.7, the build on, so you one day you could be a headliner.
Exactly.
And that's what like you said, what you thinking about. That's what that was impacting my head.
It has to be the team that's guiding him. It has to be them because we haven't heard from him, but we need to hear from the horse's mouth. Eventually, somebody will, speak to him and talk to him about this. As a matter of fact, you just gave me a great idea. I'm going to reach out to Brian Norman Jr. to clear the air because I don't think he's scared of anything. I think that they're just guiding him, and it has to be his team. But let's let him clarify that, and then we'll find out from the horse's mouth.
No, I don't think he's scared. No, he's not scared. But now,
the casual fans will say that. They'll say, listen, he's scared of Jared Boots. He's scared of. Meanwhile, these guys wouldn't jump in the ring themselves. That's just the fans talking, the casual fans speaking. So let's hear it from Brian Norman Jr. I'm definitely going to reach out to him. You gave me the idea.
And the thing about that, right? Because when you said what I was thinking that too. Hey, no, come on. I have to like really think, really like ponder a few seconds. I'm with you. I believe he got misinformed.
Definitely. Something's wrong. Doesn't make sense.
Something wrong with the story now.
Yeah.
You gonna pass up 1.7 million and you're gonna take not even $250,000?
He could have got $1 million, even $1 million at least.
Right.
Or unify with Barrios, reach out to them and see. I bet you get $1 million at least for Barrios, or 750,000, something. And if he feels he's a better fighter than Barrios, then he'd have more to negotiate at the table. But now Jared Boots Ennis holds the WBA and the IBF, which gives him the leverage. He played chess. He has those titles now, and now it's set up for him to dictate everything. Now he has no say, Brian. He has a title, but he really doesn't have any say because Jared Boots Ennis, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, those are juggernauts in the business. So I don't see how, if he doesn't, he'll have to take short money now, or he'll have to beat Barrios, have 2 titles just like Jared Boots Ennis, and then that's undisputed. That would have to be his shot.
I think, brother Johnny Boy, I think I'm by when I'm hearing that, I think that Norman could be in the bigger hole. You say, oh, you want that title? Like, especially like super. I tell me if I'm wrong about the super WBC. You got to fight Barrios to get that.
Absolutely. I'd favor Brian Norman Jr. over Mario Barrios, though. So I would take that shot, and I'd be reaching out to his people now to do that, to make that, to set that fight.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a whole, but I'm talking about a chance of aspiration. When I talk chance of aspirations, I'm talking about unified the weight class. That's what I'm talking about. That he put himself in the book. But Norman, Barrios, I'm picking Norman.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But now let's look at it from the perspective of Mario Barrios. Why would I fight Brian Norman Jr. for short money when I could just make a phone call to Jared Boots Ennis and say, listen, you want the WBC title. That's the most prestigious belt in boxing, according to most people. I like the green belt. I don't know how other people feel. You can ask them. But to get the WBC belt, he can call Jared Boots Ennis and say, you know what? He's easier to negotiate than Brian Norman Jr. Now Boots will have 3 belts. Now Brian Norman Jr. will have to beg for a fight with Jared Boots Ennis.
So who's the WBO?
The WBO is, I believe that's Brian Norman Jr.
That's Brian Norman. So that means, again, right, if that happens, they gonna look at that WBO belt. We gotta understand that before the WBO belt, the three prestigious ones is the WBA, WBC, and the IBF.
Yes, then the WBO.
And then the WBO.
Exactly. So
Now,
you know Boots wants that WBC. You know he wants that.
yeah. Oh, so yo, what's going on, brother D3?
Yo, D3, what's up, baby?
Salute to you. And so yeah, so again, Norman, like you better hope things be on your the dice be falling on your side. If not, I'm saying like this that Boo, I'm saying like you said, barriers can call Boo. Listen, see, we can get it on. Then again, yeah, we the WBO is acknowledged, but ain't nothing. And then after that, Boots can go on 154.
He spoke to us and he told us that he wants to become undisputed. He can't be there forever, and he didn't drain himself like most people thought. Most people were putting that out there that he looked drained. I was talking to him personally. I got my boxing gloves signed by Boots. I was with Bozy, his dad, the whole time. He didn't look drained. He looked healthy, so he can stay at 147 for a long period of time. The only thing is he has a goal to stay there. He's not just looking to stay there because he's comfortable in the weight. He wants those titles and he wants to become undisputed. So I think if I had to bet money, I'd say that he'd be gunning for Mario Barrios because Brian Norman Jr. is not willing to negotiate at this time for whatever reason.
Well, I said at Brother McLean's channel yesterday. I mean, like I said this about almost 2 years ago about Bruce Ennis that I at that time I said I believe he gonna be in the welterweight. I said within 3 years, I believe he gonna leave to go 154 because he's young, his body growing to grown man. So, but like you said, he had a good nutritionist. He'd be fine, but in one way or the other, he got to go 154.
Yeah,
I don't see. If he beat Barrios, let's say he beat Barrios, right?
Yeah,
and he beat Barrios, right? After that, who could be boosting that division?
There's not a lot of names in the 147-pound division, so the champions have to fight each other to settle that business. Brian Norman Jr., maybe if they offered him a little bit extra more money, maybe Matchroom will offer him over $2 million, 2.2, 2.5. And if he denies that and doesn't take that type of money, then he definitely, the fans are going to turn from him. And if he wants to keep that fan base, that no one's going to take any excuse that he puts out there to not take that fight. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, Boots is playing chess and he's playing checkers. He has to catch up now. You got to switch up your game and start getting some queens and some pawns on the board and making some moves with your promotional team.
So it's safe to say, brother Johnny Boy, right? Again, there's a question I'm putting out to you because you know the business. You will fight night. So I'm going to ask you. I was waiting for you to ask this question. Is it possible? I'm talking about Norman Camp. They not on boxing business savvy?
Absolutely. Or it's either that or they just want. There could be two things. Let's not just say that they're not savvy in the business. Let's say that they want to guide their fighter around the king, Sharon Boots Ennis. He's a difficult opponent. They should have taken the fight when he was getting hit by Avaneson and Karen. Those last
That's
two
a good
fights,
point.
His defense was lacking, and we spoke to Bozy about it. Bozy told us, listen, Boots needs to move up to 154 because we can't make it at 147. But clearly, he was not drained, and he can make it at 147 in this fight right here. And he tightened up his defense. I think he has like a problem like Teofimo Lopez. When you're not fighting a big name opponent, he doesn't put up the best performances. But when he steps up to
motivated.
Exactly. Lomachenko, Josh Taylor, that's when you see that performance. You need that A-level fighter to step it up to you, to bring up your game, to push you to the limits, so you can both be soul searching in that ring to see who's the best fighter. And that's what I think Boots has. He's such a talented fighter that he gets bored and he's like, he wasn't up for Karen or Avaneson. But you see, the best fighter at 147, in my opinion, Emantis Stanionis, he just walked right through him, and he tried to apply that pressure, and he landed great shots on Jared Boots Ennis, and it didn't even phase him. So on top of the defense, the elusive defense, because there's different fighters. Pernell Whitaker will catch the shoulder roll. He'll block the punches, right? Pernell Whitaker evades the punches. That's being elusive. That's my favorite fighter. That's the type of thing that Jared Boots Ennis was able to do in that ring. He was able to evade and get out of the way of the punches on top of blocking. So that makes him an exceptional defensive fighter. And his offense and his footwork is insane. So Brian Norman Jr. should have taken that fight too when he was bored. Now Boots looked like he's rejuvenated and he's excited about the sport. He's like, I told you guys, man, when you put me in there with A-level competition, I'm gonna step up to the plate and show people what I'm about.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I had a slight criticism about Boots Ennis, be motivated. I told him each fight, be motivated. Because you never know.
One punch, and it could be a journeyman. It doesn't have to be a champion. Those are the ones that get that lucky shot. Remember Glenn Johnson dropped Roy Jones after Antonio Tarver. Roy Jones was Superman at that time. People don't remember that. He was pound for pound. Nobody considered Floyd pound for pound over Roy Jones. He was inhuman, like he was invincible until Tarver, when he had problems with a southpaw who was taller and they had sparred before and they had that history. But he didn't take it as serious, lost all that weight, was drained, and then he took that shot. You have to be on point for every single fight because these fighters are trying to change their lives and they're trying to buy houses and feed their family. And one punch can change someone's life. You know that in this sport.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what? While you get to know me, there are some fighters that I name, and it's not good. Like Telefino, I never Telefucker because I don't like him. I don't like his attitude. I don't like the way he go about doing it. I don't. Fury, I name him Wild Animal Eater because you know he was eating the blood. I do. So when you hear them names, I'm just letting you know. I don't
like racism in boxing. I don't like fighters that call that. If you do that, then something might happen to you outside of the ring. You know, if you have a fan base, why would you turn off that fan base? Like if I have Asian fans, I have Arabian fans, I have Russian fans, I'm not going to say anything to that group. I want everybody to love me. That's what I'm here for, this sport, to inspire the youth and win titles, make money, feed my family. Why would you do that? That type of controversy is not good controversy. That doesn't sell the fight. That makes people hate you and possibly target you outside of the ring.
And see, and the thing about that, people understand that. I'm glad you talk about the casual fight because the casual fight is really sad thing about it is taking over the politics of boxing. You go, oh, I don't like this. I don't like don't know. Boxing is a universal sport. You hear
exactly.
You could die. You could die.
Give them their credit. Yeah, they put their life on the line.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a guarantee that a boxer, a fighter, can get out alive.
Absolutely.
And you know, it's so funny that when I was setting this up, Brother Johnny, right? Yeah. So I said, I was hearing people, I said, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. They call them this and that. And I'm saying, all right, you don't have to like the fighter, right? You don't have to like him, but get the racism out. You know, don't discredit your fan base because you never know. Like you said, that's a good point.
Yeah, you
gotta walk outside, and then now we deal with people right now ain't playing with a full deck.
You got crazy people out there,
and I'm gonna tell you, they know that you worth millions of dollars.
They
now
jealous.
See how the media is.
Yeah,
certain parts of mainstream media. Oh, you know better not to fight them because that person. But they start. That's what I'm saying. You gotta be. You know. And that's cool. What like, I'm trying to stay away from these casual fans. People don't know the difference of the real boxing fans like me and you, and a few others than the casuals. I always tell people if just listen to. Just listen, you be like, that's what he said?
Yeah.
So you said that I had somebody said I'm not a big Terrence Crawford fan. I'm not.
You don't like Terrence?
I don't like his ways, the way he goes.
Okay, give me a couple of reasons why you don't like Terrence.
I mean, like, I want to fight you, but I don't. Then after that, you want to talk about that person, but brother, I'm not saying you stop that. I got another name for him anyway, but I do respect him.
Yeah. He'll fight anyway. He'll fight though.
But see, that's what I'm saying. I do respect him. Oh yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, but see, I'm a real boxing fan. I know how to separate it and stuff.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
On Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence wants a rematch with Terrence Crawford. What do you think about that?
I think the beating that he sustained against Terrence Crawford doesn't warrant a second rematch against him. I think that Errol Spence Jr. should fight a tune-up fight, and I think he's making a horrible mistake by even considering facing the giant Sebastian Fundora, because Sebastian Fundora will eat him alive because of the torn eye retina, the car accident. Even though he came back and beat Mikey Garcia, I think he beat Danny Garcia. Right after the accident, so that he was blessed by God to not be injured permanently in that car wreck. But I don't think that he has the confidence and enough to beat Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora is active. You need to be an active fighter. And if you remember when he went into that fight with Terrence Crawford, he said, "We don't do tune-ups." Well, I think he was off for 18 months or something like that. You're going to be rusty. You have to get in that ring. You can't go up against a switch hitter like Terrence Crawford and think Terrence Crawford had just fought in someone. I don't remember the name. I don't even know if it was Abanesian. It was someone he had fought. I think it was Abanesian, the one that Boots fought. And then he was sharp. You know, you have to stay sharp and be on point. Was not, and he had the alcoholic problem. He was drinking and stuff. He admitted that. So those fighters like that are not disciplined, I love the knockouts that Errol Spence provides, the body snatching. A lot of fighters, you know, they want to be headhunters. They don't want to go to the body. So I respect that. But all he had to do was stay active and at least get tune-ups. We don't believe in tune-ups. Well, guess what? You just wrecked your whole career, your entire legacy. He hasn't been in the ring in the longest of time. You keep saying that he's going to come back in the ring. It was going to be 2 years, and now you're going to come back and fight Sebastian Fundora in 2 years? Only people that can do that are natural fighters like Sugar Ray Leonard after a 3-year layoff to beat Marvelous Marvin Hagler. It's not happening.
Yeah, that's not a good move.
It's not.
You find it's a killer.
A straight killer. Everybody in that division is a killer, actually.
There's a killer, right? 154, right?
The kid that beat Tim Tszyu, I don't know his name. He's a European fighter. I can't pronounce his name.
Matter of fact, I peeped that fight the day before yesterday. And so Zulu, he ain't nothing to play with either. He was a champion too.
Yeah, you got these young guns in there, and they gun a few. Sebastian Fundora holds 2 titles. If I was anybody at 154, that's the guy I'd be going for, the Giant Slayer, because I want those 2 belts. You know, and then you can unify with everyone else. But that's a whole nother matter. That's a whole nother subdivision. But Errol Spence needs a tune-up, or he needs to retire. I don't want to see him in a big mega fight right now. Not after 2 years. He's gonna get killed. He's gonna get hurt.
You know what I think? I'm saying for me, Brother John.
Yeah.
Instead of 1 tune, he should get 2 tune-ups.
I agree with that too. But how old is Errol Spence at this point? Do you know? I know he's at 33. Is he's in?
33. Right. That's what I'm saying. He up in the 80s.
How long did it? 2 years on the shelf. Now what he's gonna do? Wait another 2 years after this tune-up? Then another 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. He should get 2 tune-ups. I'm saying, for instance, he should fight in May, then June, July, August, September, October. Then November, you fight again. See how you are, and then maybe we could talk about a big fight. Then after that, in the springtime of 2026, that's how I would look at it.
That's a good game plan. But now that Turkey Al-Sheikh is in the business, I was just with Sam Watson and the PBC,
Okay.
right? I was just with him. I'm gonna do an interview with him. But he was explaining to me that now they have to work together with Bob Arum, other promoters, to go against Turkey, Dana White, and all these other players that are coming in the business. They have this unlimited cash flow from the oil money that's being injected into boxing. So most people want to go with Turkey, but if you see the payout set that they're giving for Dana White and Turkey, they're paying you high now, and then once everybody's signed under the circus tent, they're gonna start paying you peanuts. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? I could be wrong, but that's what I believe is going to happen.
Y'all wonder why I go to the right people like John. Because everybody else say talk garbage. You ain't gonna hear nothing from them.
I appreciate that.
I mean, he said I ain't explain y'all straight to the point. I'm just saying that we need us. We need brothers like Johnny Boy Boxing. We need to keep them around because these are the ones gonna tell the truth.
I keep it real. I try to be as honest as possible without offending anybody too. I want to respect them. Like I want respect as well as a man, but I respect the fighters. But if you go in that ring, you're giving us a chance, giving us an option to talk and see and talk about what we see in that ring. You know what I mean? Be honest about it. Don't sugarcoat it.
And that's some mainstream media. I'm talking about boxing dude. They want to sugarcoat it, and I find it disingenuous. Even some fighters, y'all been in the ring, y'all know what's going on, and y'all still sugarcoating this.
Yeah.
And that disappoint me. I be like sometimes Timothy Bradley, right?
That's my guy. But so he keeps it real though. He called Gervonta a 30-year-old prospect. Like nobody was saying things like this about Gervonta.
Right,
you know?
But I'm getting ready to say before that, I was like, I don't care about him like this. But to hear him, right? I had a great appreciation. Now, certain things he said a little off, let's be honest.
Yeah. We're off sometimes.
But we need more fighters that are commentaries like that. I'll tell you one person that I really miss is George Foreman. A lot of people don't think George Foreman know that he got wealth of knowledge.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna do out the year like.
Absolutely. I just interviewed Jim Lampley and he was speaking about
Jim Lampley?
Yeah, go on my channel.
I'm talking to a celebrity. We ain't got a celebrity now.
Go to my channel. I have the whole interview up on my channel, Johnny Boy Boxing on YouTube. But we were speaking about him off camera, and then I did the interview, and then he dies like 2 weeks later. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So Jim Lampley shed some tears over it in another interview that I seen.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man. They had some chemistry.
Guess who I chat on TikTok?
Who's that?
The legendary Al Bernstein.
Oh, Al Bernstein. Yeah, I just sent a text message to him too. He was on a live.
Yeah, I see him on TikTok. It was so fun. How nobody want to chat with him? I chat with him. He said, "Thanks so much, a legend." I try to get him on here too.
That's it. You have to. You got to get these guys. They're getting older, man. Or these Burt Sugars, all these guys. You got to get them now. They're not here with Burt Sugar, but
let me tell you, if I'm getting Bernstein.
Yeah, you got to try. Legendary. Pick his brain. He'll give you some knowledge. He'll give you some knowledge.
First thing, y'all. Johnny Boy Boxing. I'm looking for your influence.
That's it. I got with myself. I'm not even close to him. I just sent a text on his live, but I got to get close. I want to try to meet him. I haven't seen him at the fights though, but I'm going to try to link up with him. If I see him, I'll run up on him.
Yeah, I would like to get. Yeah, I do. I really do. I do. I say, yeah, if I get birthday, it's not like getting him, but like I said, I want to pick his brain because we've been going for a long time. I mean, he called the icon fights.
Great fights.
Great fights throughout the year. I used to watch Bernstein. I'll be 59 in June. I used to watch Bernstein.
You're looking like you're 49. What you drinking, man? I need to drink what you drinking. The fountain of youth, right? That's it.
Yeah, I try to do my best.
You're doing good. You're doing good, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But that's how I go. That's how I started watching Bernstein when I was a kid.
Yeah, man.
All away, you know. I remember he used to the late great Howard Cosell from Brooklyn.
Oh man, that's the you going back. You going back.
ABC Sports.
A lot of these young boys don't know about that. Yeah, these young boys, they don't know anything about that.
That's why I don't say. They say, yo, I know a little something about boxing. I know a little something. I know a little history of something. Yeah. So and also the late great George Foreman. His trainer was the late great Archie Moore.
Archie Moore, yeah, what a legendary.
Archie Moore that holds the title throughout the light heavyweight titles throughout the 1950s. He was undisputed.
Yeah,
all throughout the 1950s. If y'all want to hear his story and also the late great Joe Louis, go to HBO.
Definitely. They have it in the archives. Those are the type of fighters, those throwback fighters that fought every 2 weeks. Like Sugar Ray Robinson fought, I think, 3 times a week, and I think twice on the same day, if I'm not mistaken.
And one time he was 89. He was 89. No.
Exactly. And I think he got to 121 and won. So that's the best boxing record in the history of boxing. He had the one loss. I don't know if it was in his 40th fight, and then he got to 121 and won. You can look it up, but Sugar Ray Robinson, a beast. These guys are fighting every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and also the late great Sandy Sadler. I talked about this. Sandy Sadler. Do y'all know he had over 100? He had 103 knockouts in his career. He was a featherweight and super featherweight. The late great Sandy, huh?
Did he fight Willie Pep? I believe he fought Willie Pep several times.
2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now Willie Pep, he had over 200 some career. Willie Pep.
They made a movie about his life too. You know, he survived the plane crash and then he fought like 6 months later and won the title, I believe.
Yeah.
Like broke his back and his leg. Crazy. Real men. When men were real men.
Right. Those fighters back there, as you know, they fought like 4 or 5 times a week.
Definitely. And these guys, it's hard to get them in the ring once a year.
Right.
You're not trying to fight.
That's why you had these, fighters that had like 101 and 20. 130 because they fought, but everybody look at their record. But come on, I take 130, only 20 some losses or 19 losses, and I got almost 100 knockouts any day.
Yeah, exactly. But these young guys, yeah, these guys are spoiled.
There's no money back in boxing because most of them they were taking all the money.
Yeah, then the mafia was in it too. The mob was linked in it. Frankie Carbone, he was the manager of Rocky Marciano. He controlled the fighters, so he'd tell people to take a dive. People have to, you have to mess up your career. They say that Sonny Liston took a dive in the Ali fight, and in the rematch when he got knocked out in the first one, the Phantom Punch,
right?
Because he was mobbed up, So he put some money on himself, but then he ended up dying mysteriously as well.
Yeah, 5 years later, 1970, and in that case, it was never solved.
Yeah, so America didn't like him because he was a convict and he went to prison and stuff like that. But he was a great fighter. He was definitely a great fighter. His personal life, but he was an excellent fighter. He had dynamite in his hands, and he was feared by everyone. I think he was a 7-1 favorite.
He can knock you out any punch.
I think he was a 7-1 favorite against Cassius Clay, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But but see, in boxing today, we don't talk about moments like this that is connected right now. And because see, there's a difference of the fighters back then and fighters right now. I mean, we could have trilogies. 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 I mean, we
Yeah, absolutely. By now.
By now. I mean, we got rematch. I mean, it could be me. I mean, like I can never understand of some championships. You hold like 1 or 2 belts, but y'all don't want to new unify. Y'all want to go. I want to go to the next weight class.
Yeah.
Still, you got people right there, but then we. So what if you feel that we beat them, unify then?
Exactly.
I mean,
Your stock will raise up, and you'll be able to call the shots if you hold the titles.
right. But I found like these fighters, they don't want to do that. It's like, and that's what us as real boxing fans is frustrated.
Definitely.
I'm frustrated over it. But I'm not counting pockets. I'm not saying that, oh yeah, I want to know, but if you take that for you know that's gonna be more money to feed your family and stuff. Who knows? You want to, start your own promotion. You could bring.
Definitely. It'll make it happen, but you got to stay active. These fighters don't want to be active. They get spoiled, and now that Turkey has come, he's giving all these fighters his money, but I think he's just waving a carrot in front of everybody, get them excited. Once you sign, that pay is going to go down. You see that with Shakur Stevenson and Turkey Al-Sheikh. He said that he offered him a certain number, and then now he wants them fight him for he wants him to fight less money for Zepeda. He said, he sent his Tower boys over. You know what that means? He said he sent those guys over to me to speak to me, and now they give me a lower number. He's like, F them guys. I don't even want to deal with them. So we was trying to get him to talk because Shakur was over there at the Boots fight as well. So we was trying to ask him and find out, what's going on with the Tower boys and Turkey Al-Sheikh. You see, it's all good when he lays out all that money to tempt these young fighters to sign. That's why. And then you got Dana White with TKO Boxing, and Dana White is known, well, not known, but from the fighters' perspective, from what they say, they say they pay well. I'm not saying because I'm not a fighter. Dana White, I took a picture with him. I'm supposed to get an interview with him as well, and I love Dana White, so I want to get my interview. But that's what the fighters are saying. So now I want to talk to Dana White and why are these fighters saying these things, and have him explain, what's the reason why these fights, why the fighters are complaining about the pay.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Why? I mean, so let me ask you a question. Which fighters that you want to see come up next?
I'm really excited about Abdullah Mason. He's a phenomenal talent. I'm glad that he was dropped in that fight twice early instead of fighting like a monster like Keyshawn Davis, Gervonta Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson. I don't want that to happen early. If you recall, Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad, these guys were knocked down several times early in their career, and then they became great fighters. So it's better to happen with a fighter of that pedigree than to have it with someone like a Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think his skill is just exceptional. I love fighters that hit and don't get hit. Obviously, he was hitting that fight, but he's a boxer puncher, and he can get you out there, get you out of there with both hands. So Abdullah Mason, that's probably my favorite young fighter right now.
I like him too. I like him too. But but what impressed me, he was calm. He learned from it and get him out of there.
Definitely. And he handles his business.
We should see that. And he's gonna learn from that. Definitely gonna learn from that. So I know you brought up Keyshawn Davis. What you think about him?
I like Keyshawn. He's a good. I like him personally. His style is aggressive and it's exciting to the fans, but I feel like he puts himself in danger too much when he's inside the pocket. It's fun. It's fan friendly. Everyone's gonna love it. But me, like I said, my favorite fighter of all time. I'm Puerto Rican, but my favorite fighter of all time is Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker. I like just everything, the way he moves. He's so smooth with it. He doesn't get hit. So that's what I appreciate, and I understand everybody wants to knock out. I know Keyshawn is probably a more exciting fighter, but Keyshawn can do some damage. He just needs to continue to fight some people before he gets that Gervonta Tank Davis fight. I think he's still green for that. Yes, he beat Baranchyk in impressive fashion, but I think he needs to just – I think that should be Shakur and Gervonta going at it first, and the winner of that will fight Keyshawn, but Shakur and Keyshawn are friends. So I don't see that fight happening. And they spoke about it plenty of times that they don't want to fight. But there's no fight. There's no friends in boxing in the 60s, 50s, 70s.
That's what I'm saying.
But now, even in the 90s, there was no friendships. You know, we fought.
There were no friendships.
Yeah, they were friendships, but then they go to dinner after the fight. You know what I mean? They'll go to your wedding. You know, right after we fought, but we made millions. Let's celebrate now. You know, now it's different today.
I remember when we watched Miguel Cotto.
Yeah,
we watched other fights back then. They were best of friends.
Yeah.
Got it on.
You gotta get that. You gotta do business. Yeah.
You know what I noticed though, brother Johnny?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Hall of Famers in boxing that had more than 2 or 3 losses.
Yeah, absolutely. And Floyd started that trend where people thought, oh, because he's picking all the fighters. Now, Pretty Boy Floyd is a different animal. He fought everyone. He beat the most world champions, 26 world champions in a shorter period of time than even Sugar Ray Robinson. So you have to give Floyd that. Now, if he had hand injury problems, he had to get surgery, had to get phalangic injections as well. So I understand why he went the route later towards that. And those were still good fighters. Shane Mosley, he was past his prime. He just coming off of the destruction of Antonio Margarito, you know? So everybody thought, oh, doing good. After Floyd beats him, then, oh, no, he beat an old Mosley. How are you going to say that? And the reason why they say that is because boxing fans and critics can't separate the skills of a fighter versus the personality. Because he talks about that money, and that offends their lifestyle, that they have to wake up every morning to go to work, and Floyd doesn't. And that's why they're angry, that he's constantly flaunting money in their face. If he had the attitude of a Sugar Ray Leonard, which is like fan-friendly to white America, then he would be that superstar, and everybody would be talking about Floyd like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you talk about Sugar Ray Leonard, I respect Sugar Ray Leonard. But when Sugar Ray Leonard beat in 81, I was 15. When he beat he knocked out Thomas Hurst in the 14th round.
Yeah.
I was like,
he was down on the cards. He was losing that fight. And what did Angelo Dundee tell him? You're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it, son.
Blowing it, kid. You got to go out. Right.
And he did what he had to do.
And then 8 years later, when they fought again,
Tommy beat him.
That was not a draw.
That was not a draw. Tommy won that. And shout out to Sugar Ray Leonard for admitting defeat, because I never heard a fighter admit and say, listen, Tommy, you beat me. He admitted it. That's class. That's how you get the fans to fall in love with you even more. Because these fighters say, oh, I know I won the fight. Give me an example where a fighter said, no, I won this fight. I mean, I lost this fight. They never admit it. They'll never admit defeat, you know, if it's a close fight.
But you know, Johnny Boy Boxing, he said something about a few seconds ago about Sugar Ray Leonard. You know how he won that fight. White America.
Yeah, exactly. Because he had that smile. You know, some people have that aura, the gold medal. He's such a nice guy. How could you not like Sugar Ray Leonard? Every time I see him, he's a great guy. And I love Tommy Hearns too, because I'm a
bad guy.
He's a villain.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. He's the hitman. He's the hitman, a gangster. And Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, doing those flight commercials, he has that smile, that dynamite smile, that look, you know. So handsome, good-looking guy. Women love him. You know, that's what they want to sell. That type of fighter. Look at Ryan Garcia. It's because of the looks and the hooks that gets him. He's like Oscar De La Hoya. You know, that celebrity. You know, everybody's looking for that main star like Tyson. Then it goes to Leonard. Then it goes, you know, it was Ali before that. They want that breakout star. So you got to have, you know, that either that charisma or that look, you know?
Yeah, nice. Nice. They want to be nice.
Yeah.
They're not threatened.
Exactly.
They still boxers now. They still gladiators. Yeah. But I'm talking about white America.
Yes, they want you to be like, you know, that golden boy, you know, that. Yeah, they want you to sell commercials. They want you to sell Pepsi. They want you to, you know, be an advertisement giant for them to make them money.
Yeah. I mean, like Adele Hoy. I mean, like this thing. You know.
That the later part, I'm not talking about the later part of his career with the fishnets and all that other stuff. That's something else. I'm talking about when he was the golden boy and nobody knew.
Listen.
Not that De La Hoya. That De La Hoya, you know, ran him down.
No. Listen. I already touched that. I'm leaving that alone. We talking about for that.
Oh, yeah. Winning the Olympics,
We ain't
his
talking about Golden Boy Productions. We talking about
yeah,
the
yeah.
fight.
Yes.
Golden Boy. Not Productions. Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy, you know. Like I said, we're gonna get you out here because you just came in and you did us a solid. And I just want to thank you. And I'm gonna hit you up in a few. So oh yeah, he will be back sometime tomorrow. I don't know what time, and I'm going to interview him. His story should. I heard something. I like this. Because you know what? To tell the truth, Johnny Boy Boxing, at one time I stopped doing the boxing, you know, commentating. I did.
I know how it is, man. It gets down and you're not getting the views or whatever, but you got to keep at it because you never know when that breakthrough is going to happen. That persistence, I've been there a million times. I ain't doing this anymore. This is not worth it. People don't show you love. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, something happens. You don't know if God's helping you do that. And he's like, keep breaking through, keep pushing through. Persistence is what makes you success, not not just intelligence. Yes, you have to be smart and do that, but it's that guy that doesn't quit. You can be the genius, but if you quit, the guy who isn't a genius, he's going to continue to keep going and keep breaking through those walls. And that's what you got to keep doing.
Yeah, but by hearing your story, right? I said, yeah. I do got something to say about it. Yes, I do. I got to keep on. Now, I do other stuff. I do, but
that's okay. You hustle too. we got to.
But at times I do want to talk about boxing. I do. I want to be in the mix. I want to know what's going on now. I don't want to keep on talking about the same boxing thing. You know, other people talk all the time. But I want to be in the boxing. And that's when when Brother McClain finally introduced, I said, Johnny Boy Boxing. And it was like, I heard your story. I said, yeah. Yeah, that's what's up.
That's a good brother right there, Clarence. He came out of nowhere. I met him in Brooklyn at the Kids Police Athletic League. Some gym over there. Andre Rosier and all those guys over there. And me and Clarence just clicked right away. Harlem and Brooklyn put us together. Is a combination for sweet
Where
success.
You originally from?
I'm from Bushwick, Brooklyn.
Really?
Rosie Perez, Eddie Murphy, the greatest comedian who ever lived. Yeah, Eddie Murphy right on Bushwick Avenue.
Prospect Heights, Brooklyn.
Yeah. Oh, so you see, you already know Prospect Heights. We right next to you.
Yeah, right next to you. Wow. No wonder we click.
I said, Brooklyn boys. It says the Brooklyn way. We got to spread love the Brooklyn way. You already know.
Exactly. There's a certain y'all understand, man. Y'all understand.
It's a New York thing.
Brooklyn,
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
strong Brooklyn versus everybody, right?
Exactly. I go out. My what? I don't know. What's up? Don't get it twisted now. Yo,
we older now. That was the 80s, 90s. We older now. We don't got to do that now.
We don't do that anymore. But they said, I've been in Virginia almost 13 years, almost 13 years. So they always said, hey man, you got the new Brooklyn. I said, never gonna leave.
Yeah. Once you can leave Brooklyn, but you can't leave the Brooklyn out of the kid.
I mean, Brooklyn is always gonna be home for me. That's how it was. New York made me.
Exactly.
I give you case in point. See, my late father was from the South, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. My late mother, born and raised in Brooklyn.
Ah, okay. And then they met. That's it. That's how you
like my late father, he was married before he met my mom. Got divorced. My mom's had 2 kids. That's my older brother, my older sister, by the same father. And they clicked and everything. They have four other that besides my younger brother passed away 2019. Then my mom's. Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate that. So but my late mom's was in the gang.
Yeah, it was bad. It was different. Yeah, people don't understand. Yeah, it's different in New York. 80s, 90s. Right now it's all gentrified, but they didn't know.
It's every that's what they see. Thank you. You can't tell them that. I said no. That's not New York. What y'all see? That's gentrified. That 30 years now. That's gentrified. That we ain't talking. Y'all don't know those times.
Exactly. It was a war zone, like I call it Brooklyn, Vietnam. And in the year 1990, the most homicides in New York City was 2,242 murders. Right now, you have about 350 to 400. That's like an 80% decrease in crime. So right now, I call it Brooklyn Disneyland because they have no idea what we had to walk through and fight on this corner and fight in that corner. Just going to the boxing gym in Bed-Stuy, I was on Marcus Garvey and Gates. You used to have to fight. Just going to the gym, you get into fights.
Right.
You know? So it's crazy. So they right now it's sweet over there. Like you just walk through. It's like, I mean, yeah, you got you little knuckleheads, but it's nowhere near the type of warfare that was going on in those times where you had to have pistols on you or you got to be good with them hands. That's how I got into boxing, getting bullied. I had to get my hand game a little bit good. My knuckle game. That's how it started for me.
And that's how you think about it, Brooklyn. A lot of people don't understand, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying the rest of New York don't have it, but like Brooklyn would bleed up, or we bred a champions because of the conditions that we was in. You got Mike Tyson, Shannon Briggs, the Cannon. Then you got Riddick Bowe. Then you got Hector Camacho. I can, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. When you in these conditions, it's all about survival.
Exactly. It's different. Straight jungle. It's like it's kill or be killed.
It's a jungle. You get up, you fighting. You go in the house, you fighting. You better.
You better, or they're gonna keep bullying you. It's like when in Rome, you gotta act like the Romans, right? So everybody's an animal, you better act like an animal, you're gonna get eaten alive. You're not gonna be able to survive. So like they always say, like KRS-One says, Manhattan always making it, Brooklyn always taking it, Bronx keeps creating it, and Queens keeps on faking it. I got mad love for Queens, but we used to always try to move out to Queens to get away from Brooklyn so that we could go to Brooklyn, do dirt, and then go back to Queens and try to disappear, make sure nobody follow us to nice Queens, because Queens is like the suburbs to Brooklyn for us, So certain like Jamaica and Queensbridge, they get it popping. So I give them their credit. And Far Rockaway,
get popping. Yeah, exactly. Right. For me, I used to play ball, right? So sometimes I used to trap, just get out of the condition. You know what I'm talking about, bro. Get out of the condition for a few hours.
You have to escape.
Because you got to come back to the shooting, he rolling dice.
Yeah, everybody
got a shot. You see
the worst.
Right, you see the yellow, you see the white lines and all that. A lot of people that does something to you.
It's crazy, man.
You talk to your homie 1 o'clock, then you come back 9 o'clock. You can't go into the building. Yo, homie got shot. I just talked to him 1 o'clock. I don't know. They whatever. Boom.
How many funerals we went to? You go to 1 million funerals, and then shootout every night you go to sleep. It's shootout. You hear gunshots. Now I don't hear anything. It's
weird. Maybe June 4th, pop. That's about it.
That's when they trying to light people up. Try to be slick with it. But thank God we made it here.
We made it here. So you're gonna be coming on here more often, but I always tell people where your last remarks. So what's your last remarks? After you make your last remarks, I want you to stay up. My last remarks, and we'll close it as your last remarks, please.
First, I want to thank you, Grinda, for even having me on the show, man. It's an honor and a privilege. Like I said again, thank you. I appreciate you. I'll be supporting you. I'll be looking for your channel and stuff like that. And just watch out for what we got coming. Go to my channel, JohnnyBoyBoxing, and fight. You can watch me on Fight Hype, and you can watch me at JohnnyBoyBoxing on YouTube, and then JohnnyBoyQuick on Instagram. Check me out. Show love. I'll show you everybody love. That's the way we all build together.
Yeah, and also here, sometime tomorrow, I'm not gonna do a chopper, JohnnyBoyBoxing. That be down the road, but I'm gonna interview him. Yes, I am. I'm not doing no job. But I'm gonna interview him tomorrow. I want you to hear his story. It's inspirational. How a young man from Brooklyn, rise.
Definitely, man. Appreciate that, man.
And I want you to understand there's levels to this. And so what I'm gonna do, he gonna let me know, and then he gonna let his people know to come by, and I'm gonna let my people to know to come by because, like I said, your story need to be told.
I appreciate that, man. Really.
It need to be told. And also, so because like I said, when I heard the story of Johnny, I was like this. I was like, man, because at the time I knew you was from Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, got some stories.
It's that grind. I'm like, yo, I identify with that because not talking about anybody else. I'm just work with a here that I have to say this. Us as African and Puerto Rican, we always been disfranchised.
Exactly.
We all, but it seems like they always trying to put a division, you know. It shouldn't be no division.
We got black in us. How could there be a division? We got black in us. You know what I mean? From the slaves when they got to Puerto Rico.
You can tell some of them that.
But they don't want to listen to it. You got to embrace it. That's it.
I mean, like I said, see, people don't understand in New York.
Yeah.
All the ethnic groups always against black and Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it's a melting pot.
I don't want to go on now. See. I'm not going to break it down because you're not going to understand that. Johnny Boy,
yeah.
Like, see, I might talk about that maybe, but we're gonna keep about. Maybe I'll talk about. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, brother Johnny. I'm going to start a series about born and raised in New York.
Oh, okay, that's good, man. Yeah, you got to try different things. You know?
Tell me how it is, you know, then right now, because I'm gonna start something. I want you to be part of it.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Y'all think y'all know New York. Y'all don't know New York.
Yeah, this thing is crazy. It was crazy.
Y'all know the nice part of New York.
Exactly.
You see the big buildings and all that. Y'all don't know about abandoned parks and abandoned buildings that been up there for years. Y'all don't even know that you can't walk out down a certain block. Y'all don't know about that. Go to school. You gotta. Nah, I ain't gonna get into that, man. We'll get into it though next time. But I'm gonna reach out to you in a few minutes, brother. To talk a little something, and but I want to thank you.
Definitely, man. Thank you for having me on.
And thank you. So y'all gonna see him more too. Believe that.
Definitely.
You're gonna see him more too, especially the boxing. Don't tell nobody. Johnny Boy Boxing know a little something besides boxing. We ain't gonna tell nobody.
Yeah.
We gonna keep that in the link. Don't know about boxing. He know a little something. He just want to be nice.
I said we'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about. But thanks again. This is the last.
Salute, my brother.
Yeah. This is the last underrated boxing talk. Underrated boxing talk 95 with my brother Johnny Boy Boxing. Underrated darkness. Grinder one. Have a blessed night.
You too. God bless everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for having me on. One love.
Welcome. One love too. And y'all will see him again tomorrow. I don't know what time, but I gotta talk to him. Stay tuned.
That's it.
Pay attention tomorrow, y'all. I'm telling y'all. Y'all can have a bad day. His story will lift you. Y'all gonna see. Y'all see. But I'll reach out to you in a few. The rest of y'all have a good night. Thank y'all. Very much appreciated. This one is Ghost. Peace.
Peace.